With its gold color and stunning rings, Saturn is quite a planetary gem. Saturn is the second largest of the 8 planets, and it is about 10 times as wide as Earth. Despite its size, Saturn is actually the lightest planet. It is predominantly made of the gases hydrogen and helium, and because of its particular gaseous composition, Saturn is the only planet in the solar system that's less dense than water. If the planet were placed on an enormous ocean, it would be able to float. Saturn's gaseous makeup also means that it has no true surface. At its center, the planet has a dense core of water, ice, and rocky material, but it has no actual landmass. Instead, it's mostly made of gases, liquids, and yellow ammonia crystals that swirl around the planet, creating golden clouds and storms. The largest storm on Saturn is at its North Pole. It's over twice the size of Earth and shaped in a near-perfect hexagon. Each of the 6 sides is believed to be the result of jet streams, which all encircle a massive hurricane. Because of Saturn's inhospitable environment, the planet cannot support life, but some of its moons might. Saturn has more than 50 confirmed moons, and each varies in size and terrain. Enceladus, one of Saturn's smallest moons, is covered in ice and only about as wide as the state of Pennsylvania. Titan, Saturn's largest moon, is nearly as wide as Canada. Titan is also the only moon in the solar system with clouds and a dense atmosphere. Both Titan and Enceladus have underground oceans that would make them potentially capable of sustaining life. Saturn's moons may also play a role in shaping the planet's signature feature, its rings. Saturn's ring system is the largest and most complex in the entire solar system. The rings are made of icy and rocky remnants from comets, asteroids, and moons. The particles range in size from being as small as dust to as big as mountains. The ring system is divided into 7 groups of rings. Altogether, they are as wide as 4.5 Earths, but only about 2/3 of a mile thick. How the rings are able to stay on track and intact has to do with Saturn's smallest moons. Called shepherding moons, these tiny satellites orbit between the rings, and they seem to use their gravity to shape the ring material into circular paths. Saturn has fascinated scientists and amateur astronomers alike for thousands of years. The ancient Greeks and Romans, who named the planet after their god of agriculture, believed it was a star. It wasn't until the 17th century, after the telescope was invented, that scientists like Galileo Galilei, Christian Huygens, and Giovanni Cassini could take a much closer look. Only then was Saturn's planetary status discovered, and ultimately, its many moons and brilliant rings. Because of its planet-like moons, lightweight composition, and dazzling ring system, Saturn continues to mesmerize us to this day. (370°). In ancient times, humans studied the night sky and discovered the worlds of Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. But beyond this realm of knowledge, another world shined brightly, just waiting to be discovered. Uranus is the 7th planet from the Sun. From a distance of about 20 astronomical units, or 20 times the distance between Earth and the Sun, Uranus orbits the star once every 84 Earth years, approximately the length of a human's entire life. This orbit causes each season of Uranus to last that much longer. Theoretically, a human living on Uranus would experience the 4 seasons only once, but each for about 21 years. Partially due to its distance from the Sun, Uranus boasts the coldest temperatures in the solar system. These icy temperatures, dropping as low as -370 degrees Fahrenheit, are largely influenced by the planet's composition. At about 4 Earths wide, Uranus has an Earth-sized core made of iron and magnesium silicate. The remainder, approximately 80% of Uranus, is a worldwide ocean of ices made of water, ammonia, and methane, the chemical behind the planet's cool blue color. This icy composition prevents Uranus from emitting much heat compared to other planets, making the blue world the solar system's coldest. In addition to its extreme temperatures and orbit, Uranus has a dramatic orientation. While the other 7 planets spin on their axes like tops, Uranus appears to roll along its equator. The planet is tilted at a near right angle, in which polar regions point toward and away from the Sun rather than upward and downward. This tilt, thought to be the result of Uranus's collision with at least one celestial body, has also affected the orientation of Uranus's 13 rings and 27 known moons. Unlike the rings and moons of other worlds, which orbit their home planets horizontally, those of Uranus orbit in a vertical orientation along the planet's tilted equator, much like a Ferris wheel. Uranus and its many unusual features were a mystery to the ancients, and the planet was actually thought to be a star. But in the late 18th century, astronomer William Herschel discovered that the celestial object was actually a new world. The scientific community debated over what the planet should be called, and eventually chose a name suggested by astronomer Johann Elert Bode. Bode believed that since Jupiter was the father of the gods, and Saturn was the father of Jupiter, then this new planet should be the father of Saturn, Silus. But rather than following the tradition of using names from ancient Roman religion, Bode instead opted for Silus's ancient Greek equivalent, Uranos. Uranos, the ancient Greek god of the heavens, was then Latinized to be Uranus. To this day, Uranus is still the only planet that veered from tradition with an ancient Greek namesake, a status most fitting for a planet beyond convention. Neptune is the 8th. Along the dark edges of the solar system, it floats. Anchored by a star, but barely graced by its warmth, this traveler drifts alone, as deceptively calm and elusive as the deep blue sea. Neptune is the 8th planet from the Sun. At about 30 times the distance between our star and the Earth, or 30 astronomical units, Neptune is the most distant planet in our solar system. This distance creates the longest orbit of the 8 worlds, about 165 years, with the seasons lasting a little over 40 Earth years each. Being so far away from the heat and light of the Sun, Neptune is cold, dark, and icy. At its heart is a solid core about 1.5 times the size of Earth. Making up about 45% of the planet's mass, the core is made of water ice and silicate rock. The rest of the planet is believed to be a hot, pressurized ocean of water, methane, and ammonia ices surrounded by a layer of clouds. These clouds, predominantly made of hydrogen and helium, include traces of methane, which give this ocean world its rich blue color. While the clouds create a cool, calm veneer from afar, up close they are whipped around by the most severe weather in the solar system. Winds on the planet reach speeds of over 1,200 miles per hour, nearly 5 times faster than the strongest winds recorded on Earth. In fact, the winds are so powerful that they break the sound barrier. Drifting high above this windy ice giant is a quiet ecosystem of rings and satellites. 6 rings encircle the planet, with some containing ring arcs, or clusters of dust particles in a ring. Also revolving around the planet are 14 known moons, with the largest called Triton. Named after the son of the ancient Greek sea god, Triton has ice volcanoes and may even contain a subsurface ocean. Much is left to be discovered about Neptune, its rings, and its moons. Only one spacecraft, Voyager 2, has visited these cosmic bodies, but future missions to this mysterious, icy world would have even more stories to tell.